New Jersey Motorsports Park as we get set to go for what will be an interesting day of racing for those in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. Hello, friends. My name's Rob Howden. Welcome to Road to Indy TV coverage of what is now the stretch run of our 2021 season. Indy Pro 2000 rolling out onto the racetrack here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. A very interesting circuit, difficult one to pass. Should make things very interesting. 2.25 miles, the length of the racetrack here, 12 turns, a little bit of elevation change, a lot of fast sweeping corners, not a lot of the hard braking, overtaking opportunities, more of a sweeping racetrack and drivers really having to set up and almost force their competition into a mistake to be able to find that opening. That's how tough it is around this particular racetrack. Track record coming in, qualifying record, Stingray Rob. From last year at 112.396 here in Indy Pro 2000. Yesterday's practice sessions, open test session, Christian Rasmussen the quickest at a 114.915. And much different conditions than we had last year when Stingray was able to lay down that track record run, because it has been very warm and very humid. And maybe not so hot, but the humidity has been really crazy. We're up to 79 degrees here right now, ambient temperature. But earlier this morning, I believe it was around 93% was the humidity. Right now, about 83. So it's dropped a little bit from the moist morning, but still going to be a very difficult weekend in terms of setup for the engineers. Also for the drivers in terms of fitness as well, as they were very, very dehydrated yesterday, very warm, very, very hot in the seat, and the team's making sure their drivers staying as hydrated as possible. Christian Rasmussen was quickest, as I said yesterday, the point leader coming in, a nice little advantage, 32 points over Braden Eves coming off his victory at Worldwide Technology Raceway just a week ago. Eves second in points, Rasmussen the leader though. He was quickest with a 114.915. Artem Petrov in the second spot, 114.931. Not that far back for Petrov, just 15 thousandths of a second. And you consider both of those drivers, what they did last week. Christian Rasmussen starting back in seventh, somehow able to work his way up into the second position, had a tremendous run on the oval at Worldwide Technology Raceway. On the other hand, Artem Petrov in the wall after the incident when he and Jack Miller got together, both those drivers careening into the outside wall. Significant damage to the car of Petrov, that as well of Jack Miller. And kudos to both of those teams from Exclusive Autosport and Miller Vinatieri Motorsports for getting cars back together for them to get on track. Both actually were in the top four yesterday. Artem Petrov in second, Jack William Miller, the rookie in the number 40 P4 yesterday, only 0.3 of a second back. So very good speed out of Miller as well. Between Petrov and Miller, it was Reese Gold, rookie for Juncos Racing in the number 55 out of Miami, Florida, a 115.249. He and Miller just 0.3 of a second back. Wyatt Prokacek for J. Howard Driver Development was strong as well, P5 for Wyatt. 10 drivers in total in the program here. Two drivers not making the trek here to New Jersey. James Rowe on the pole at Worldwide Technology Raceway on the oval. He was 6th yesterday. Jacob Abel 7th. Hunter McElroy 8th. Braden Eves 9th. And Kiffin Simpson in 10th. Practice session underway, though. Drivers now getting to work. Qualifying set to go this afternoon at 1 o'clock ahead of a 4:30 green flag start for the first of 3 races here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Just 5 more races remaining to cap off this season. 3 here at New Jersey. And, of course, the finale, all 3 series coming back together at Mid-Ohio on October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We'll find out who our champions will be for the 2021 season and which drivers will earn those lucrative scholarships to take them one more level up the program. 30-minute sessions for the drivers here in Indy Pro 2000. Qualifying sessions much shorter, down to just the 20 minutes for the drivers to get the job done. Again, say hello to those of you tuning into the Road to Indy TV app or on IndyPro2000.com or on any of the platforms you're able to pick up our Road to Indy TV programming. This is the shot from turn number 5. This shot here, turn 6 and 7. We lose them actually with the track cameras that we have here through 8 and 9. This is 10. Drivers come out of turn number 9 over to turn number 10 now. Drivers just coming into turn 10. A sweeping left-hander. Little right-left turn 11A and B. And sliding through turn number 12 after coming underneath the bridge. Onto the straightaway here now to turn 12. Here's your shot down the straight. Start, finish. Turn 1, wide open corner. Our best passing opportunity is into turn number 1 or potentially down into turn 2. This is turn 2 here. Through that right-hander. They'll work their way down to turn 3. This is the entrance into turn number 3 now. And 3 is a right, left, right combination. Out of turn number 3. Leading on to this straightaway, over the rise into turn 4, or rather into turn 4 indeed. A little bit of a downhill right-hander there. Left-hand turn 5, back over here to 6. And 6 is the shot you'll get. A couple of right-handed 90-degree corners. 6 and 7 leading into the inner loop. This is turn 7. Big, wide sweeping 8 and 9 that leads into turn 10. Big right-hand sweeper. Quick driver thus far, Hunter McElroy on the third lap, 114.709. Quicker than the drivers turned yesterday, 114.709. Artem Petrov in second. Petrov rolls across start-finish here. 3 of James Rowe into pit lane for turn 3 Motorsports, rolling back out now onto the track. There comes Rowe down pit lane. Another driver coming in here as well. That's the 55 of Reese Gold into pit lane. This particular camera angle makes it look like there's a lot of downhill run there. There's actually not that much of a downhill run into turn number 1. I've yet to see Wyatt Prokachik, Christian Rasmussen, or Jacob Abel. At least they have not yet turned a lap on track. There's Jack William Miller rolling into turn number 4. Down to 5. I believe that's Kiffin Simpson in front of him. Here comes James Rowe Jr. in the turn 3 Motorsport machine. Top qualifier on the Oval Worldwide Technology race. Went a great top 5 finish for James Rowe as well. Comes into the championship 9th in points with a shot at potentially reeling in both Kiffin Simpson and Jacob Abel, depending on how things go over the last 5 races. Qualifying is going to be crucial here. So when we do get these drivers onto the racetrack at 1 o'clock for their 20-minute session, it will definitely be crucial in terms of seeing how things shake down for the points. A second qualifying run for both USF2000 and Indy Pro 2000 tomorrow morning. 30-minute session at 9 o'clock for USF2000. 10:45 for Indy Pro 2000. USF2000 race number 2 rolling off at 1:30 or 11:30 tomorrow. Indy Pro 2000 at 1:30. Follow right back up with race 3 at 2:30 and race 4 at 4:45 for Indy Pro 2000. We have the Blue Marble Radical Cup with us here this weekend as well to have a solid lineup of competition for those who have trekked here to New Jersey Motorsports Park for the weekend to enjoy some great racing. McElroy, Petrov, Eves, Gold, and Miller. Top 5. Braden Eves back across the line, a 115.105. 115.1. Eves' best lap yesterday in the second session, a 116 flat. Petrov into pit lane now in the number 42. Exclusive Autosport comes in as your team championship point leader, 39 points ahead of Juncos Racing now. It gives them the head of the grid for Artem Petrov and Braden Eves. First group here on pit lane. A little bit of an advantage, obviously, for practice sessions, qualifying sessions, able to be the first guys off pit lane. Hunter McElroy into pit lane. He'll roll back out in that black and white Pabst Racing number 18. McElroy coming off a good big win at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And I know that was a big one for Hunter, having won earlier in the year at Barber Motorsports Park. Had a bit of a stretch run there, midway through the season where I think he would have liked to have had a lot better result than he did, and especially Road America, I think that hit him pretty hard. Wanted to do well at the essentially spiritual home of Pabst Racing, their shop in nearby Oconomowoc, and was really hoping to be, of course, able to put down a good result there, and just didn't seem to have the pace, but did turn things up big time at Mid-Ohio, as I said, and was able to dominate the Sunday race. He'll look forward to be going back there for the finale as well. McElroy coming in 4th in points. Quite a ways back at this point. I want to say about 71 points in arrears of Christian Rasmussen, but yeah, you could go on a good stretch of racing. You never know what could happen. McElroy coming off that podium 3rd spot. Started 5th, drove his way up into 3rd. 3rd. Eves, Rasmussen, and McElroy were kind of the class of the field there in that event through the second half as they were able to settle in. Rasmussen put a lot of pressure on Eves throughout that race, but Eves did not crack whatsoever and was able to come home with a very big victory. Eves out of New Albany, Ohio. Petrov still in pit lane here midway through the session. Still a long way to go, 18 and a half minutes. It's like they'll go to work on the machine a little bit. I think the cowl potentially coming off. We'll see. Braden Eves coming into pit lane in the number 91. His best lap. Yeah, he just came off his best lap, actually. Got down to a 114.785. Eves just 700ths behind McElroy. Still have not seen a time here from Christian Rasmussen. And so this makes you wonder, 3 sets of tires with the speed he had yesterday, are they thinking about potentially trying to save tires here? We'll see whether or not Rasmussen heads out. Wyatt Prokopchik has been on track, but just for 1 lap. So the Jay Howard driver development crew is not yet been on the racetrack. McElroy still the fast driver. Here comes the number 1 of Rasmussen. So indeed heading out onto the track for Christian Rasmussen as well with 17 minutes remaining. You see Christian Rasmussen rolling down pit lane. His first laps. Artem Petrov coming as well, Kiffin Simpson. A couple more drivers heading down pit lane. Doesn't feel like there's a huge sense of urgency in this particular session. Of course, the 2 extra length test sessions yesterday. Adjustments still being made up and down pit lane. Fine-tuning the setup on these PM18 race cars. We'll, of course, see the upgraded IP22 chassis next year with that new carbon fiber tub with the installed Halo type device, increasing the safety level of the program. You'll see that chassis, that new Halo and tub in both USF2000 and Indy Pro 2000 with the USF22 and the IP22. Turn 1 and 2 down here into turn number 3. A, B, and C, the right, left, right combination that heads back out onto the short straightaway here heading to turn 4. Up over a little rise. That's Prokopchik into turn 4. Down into turn number 5 now, the braking zone, left-hander. Prokopchik rolls it out there nicely, gets to the left side of the racetrack. A little touch on that white line, diving it into turn number 6 and 7 now. A couple of very quick 90-degree corners. Roll that corner speed. big sweeping turn number 8 and 9 leading back to the left-hander. You can just see the edge of it on the top left of the screen. That is turn number 10. You'll see Prokachik tuck in there pretty soon. Through turn number 10 comes Prokachik. Through now turn 11. A little right-left. Back under the bridge. Turn 12 and onto the front straightaway here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. 2.25-mile racetrack, 12 corners. Prokachik now rolling his way down the straightaway. He'll move his way up to P5 with that lap of 1:15.106. Prokachik back by just over 0.4 of a second now from your quick driver, Hunter McElroy. Rasmussen's opening lap. His out lap puts him P7, a 1:15.346 for Rasmussen. The 51, Abel Motorsports Crosley Brands machine of Jacob Abel heading out there now. Reese Gold goes to the top of the charts for Juncos Racing. Gold in the 55, 114.632. 13 thousandths quicker than McElroy. Here comes James Rowe as well out of pit lane. Reese Gold, quickest driver in the 55. Rasmussen now, lap 2, immediately to P1, 114.493 for Rasmussen as he rolls across start-finish. So Jack William Miller heading to pit lane. Petrov across the line. Down into turn number 1. Reese Gold there as well. There's a good shot of the short shoot out of turn number 1 to turn number 2. It's not quite a full 90. More like about a 45-degree corner coming through there, so you're carrying a lot of speed through 1, but you have so much speed going through that corner, it does allow for drivers to make a move, getting a draft down there and positioning themselves to get a better shot, whether it be on the inside or the outside. We've seen drivers make a move around the outside there as well, because you can hold that outside line, get a better run down into turn number 2, and then, of course, through there over to 3. Back to 6 and 7. Rasmussen P1, 114.493, 11 and a half minutes to go. Wyatt Prokachik's gone to second. So the Jay Howard driver development cars are lined up now. Prokachik to P2, 114.578. Prokachik out of Johnstown, Colorado. Reese Gold third, Hunter McElroy fourth, Braden Eves fifth, Artem Petrov sixth, Jack William Miller seventh, James Rowe in eighth, Kiffin Simpson ninth, Jacob Abel 10th. Both Petrov and Gold to pit lane. More drivers in the pit lane as well. Yeah, there goes Rasmussen too. He'll duck on off. Here comes Jack William Miller back out in the 40. Currently sitting 7th. Number of drivers making runs into pit lane. Artem Petrov's going to take back to the garage area. I think that's going to be it for Artem Petrov. Half the session, or at least 2/3 of the session, and they're heading back. So Artem Petrov takes the number 42 back into the garage area here at New Jersey. 6 quick, 114.830 for Petrov. 3/10 off. Final practice session of the weekend for these drivers. Qualifying will roll out at 1 o'clock Eastern. Ahead of the race this afternoon, which will go green at 4:30. And again, as I said, back to qualifying tomorrow morning at 10:45 for qualifying 2. So final practice session for Indy Pro 2000. Rasmussen, Brkachik, Gold, McElrea, and Eves, the current top 5. Jacob Abel just turned his fastest lap. He's only got a couple of laps in right now for Abel. Only 2 in the books. Not sure if they're dealing with some kind of an issue for Jacob Abel or not, but here I believe, say McElrea may have just pulled in pit lane as well. There's Jack William Miller over the crest into turn number 4. Down to 5 comes Miller, currently 8th. Jack William Miller coming in 11th in points. Get a chance to dial things in here. Braden Eves across the line, move him up to P3 now, 114.601 for Eves. 114.601 for Braden Eves, only a 10th off of Rasmussen. 2 championship contenders ready to fight it out. There's Eves down into turn number 4, or rather turn number 6. Through 6 and 7. Brkachik up into second, as I said, with a 114.578. Just 0.08 off of Rasmussen. 7 minutes to go. That'll be it for the 5 of Brkachik as well. He'll head behind the wall. Number of drivers just taking limited time on the racetrack here. Of course, 2 long sessions yesterday. Here's Eves down into turn 1. That car to take a set. That's going to be it for the 1 of Rasmussen as well. So the reigning USF2000 champion and current Indy Pro 2000 point leader done for this practice session. He'll be back at 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to follow up this session just 15 minutes later with USF2000. Those drivers getting set to go for their qualifying run. So the Road to Indy TV crew here will be taking a bit of a break after we wrap things up with qualifying. We'll be done probably around 10:35. We're not back live again till 1 o'clock, so about 2.5 hour break before we're back here with qualifying for Indy Pro 2000. That session, about 40 minutes after that, we'll go live with the Road to Indy TV broadcast, our pre-race for round number 1 of the 3 events here in the Cooper Tires USF2000 Grand Prix at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Parker Thompson will be joining me. Of course, Parker, the host of Road to Indy TV, and he and I will do the pre-race show and dial things in for what should be a pretty exciting triple-header weekend in terms of wheel-to-wheel racing. If you want to overtake here at New Jersey, you got to be aggressive. You got to keep the pressure on. Take care of those tires. This place is notoriously hard on tires. Tire management could be something we look at throughout the weekend. Jacob Abel back onto the racetrack as well in the number 51. Jack William Miller across the line. Here comes Reese Gold out again in the number 55. Abel across the line in the 51. He is 6th now, 114.799. Less than 0.4 of a second separate your top 7 right now. Yeah, we're going to wrap this session up right around 10 o'clock. And then set to go with USF2000 qualifying at 10:15. So about a 15-minute break before we're back at it here with USF2000 and see how things set up for their Race 1 grid. James Rowe Jr. heading back out. Scanning around our virtually empty racetrack. A number of drivers have already headed back to the garage area. Again, in the championship battle, 345 points for Christian Rasmussen, trying to go back-to-back championships in USF2000 and Indy Pro 2000, as did Kyle Kirkwood. Braden Eves, the 2019 champ, coming off that, of course, nasty wreck at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway last year, has really bounced back nicely with exclusive Autosport and has a couple of wins on the season this year. Eves was victorious at Barber Motorsports Park. Back that weekend up with a win at St. Petersburg, and of course coming off that strong victory on the oval. So the trifecta that I always like to bring up as well, one of the beauties, of course, of the NTT IndyCar Series is the diversity of the facilities. Natural terrain, road courses, temporary street circuits, and of course the ovals. Same goes with the Road to Indy as we aim to train our drivers to be ready for the IndyCar program, and already Braden Eves has got the trifecta. He's won at Barber Motorsports Park this year, the natural terrain road course, won at St. Petersburg, the street circuit, temporary street circuit, and won on the oval as well at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Christian Rasmussen has done the same. He won at St. Petersburg. He won on the road course at Indianapolis. He also won at Lucas Oil Raceway and at both Mid-Ohio and Road America. So he's got the trifecta as well, winning on all three circuits. Only the one street circuit this year with St. Petersburg. Of course, we all hope that we'll be able to get back to Toronto next year. 2.5 minutes remaining. Rasmussen, P1, but here comes Hunter McElroy. He's gone back to second, 19 thousandths of a second back. Hunter McElroy. 114.519. If you're thinking tire management, that's one thing to look for. Christian Rasmussen turned just 4 laps. Abel's got 5, but he's heading back out. Prokachik just 7. Both those drivers into pit lane already. 4 and 7 laps, respectively. Back to the garage. Abel heading back out in the 51. Currently P6, 114.799, top 7, separated by less than 3.5 tenths. Rasmussen, McElroy, Prokachik, Eves, Gold, Abel, Petrov, top 7. Again, once we wrap up this session here, if you're ready to tune into the qualifying session for USF2000. That's set to go at 10:15 Eastern time here in Millville, New Jersey. We've hit the high for the day already at 10 o'clock in the morning, 81 degrees. Humidity is still around 79. But again, watching the forecast, what could shake down this afternoon. McElroy heading back out in the 18 as well. Jack William Miller rolling back out. You can see him coming down pit lane. Oh, right there, almost contact. That was a wake-up call there. Hunter McElroy came rolling out onto the racetrack right in front of the 51 of Jacob Abel. That was unbelievably scary as McElroy rolling out of pit lane right across and in front of Abel. And McElroy probably had no clue, on the throttle coming straight out. Abel showing incredible awareness and was able to check up. I'm sure that Jacob coming into that corner, turning in, could see potentially that the car was coming out, but wow. That could have been very sketchy for both of those drivers, especially with qualifying in just about 2.5 hours. We got 3 hours from now for qualifying. 1 o'clock for Indy Pro 2000. Those teams could have been doing some work. And that would have been a massive wreck. We dodged one there for sure here at the very end. Checker flag has flown to end the session. That was right at the end as McElroy went back out. Whew. That one caught me off guard. I'm sure caught Jacob Apel off guard as well. So dodged a bullet there at the end of that session as two drivers almost made contact coming out of turn number 1. Hunter McElroy coming out of pit lane and Abel rolling through turn 1. Nonetheless, Rasmussen with just 4 laps in the books ends up going P1 a 114.493. The Jay Howard Driver Development Crew have developed a very strong platform for both Christian and Wyatt Prokachik, who times in P3. Hunter McElroy separating those two Jay Howard drivers in second. Braden Eves 4th. Reese Gold 5th. Jacob Abel 6th. And Artem Petrov 7th. Just less than 3.5 tenths of a second separating your top 7. Jack William Miller ends up 8th. James Rowe in 9th. And Kiffin Simpson rounding out the top 10. Folks, just 15 minutes away before we get things underway for qualifying for USF 2000. Make sure you come back and join us. Of course, here on Road to Indy TV, whether it be on the app or on USF2000.com, we'll have that qualifying session for you in just 15 minutes.
Cooper. Tires exist on a spectrum. On one end, you got too much tire. On the other, you don't get enough. Both ends are rip-offs. You're either paying for more than you need or needing more even after you pay. So if you want a tire that costs what tires should cost and does what tires should do, go right for the sweet spot. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
At TopCon, we know a thing or two about a smooth surface. Roads and highways, piece of cake. Airports, let's just say it'll be the smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast? No, faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. TopCon, always one step ahead.
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
As your uncle, I want you to know that on the road to life, there will be rough spots, and they will chew up your tires. I recently took a road trip to Greensville to attend a chili cook-off. Rough roads all the way down. I drove there on these Cooper Discoverer and Duramax tires. You know, they're made with the durability of off-road tires, but for on-road driving. Without them, we might never know the winning bean-to-meat ratio of a good chili. And those are the things in life, my friend, worth driving towards. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! I'm hungry now.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
Here is a bit of wisdom from your Uncle Cooper. Tires exist on a spectrum. On one end, you got too much tire. On the other, you don't get enough. Both ends are rip-offs. You're either paying for more than you need or needing more even after you pay. So if you want a tire that costs what tires should cost and does what tires should do, go right for the sweet spot. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
At TopCon, we know a thing or two about a smooth surface. Roads and highways, piece of cake. Airports, let's just say it'll be the smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast? No, faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. TopCon, always one step ahead.
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
As your uncle, I want you to know that on the road to life, there will be rough spots, and they will chew up your tires. I recently took a road trip to Greensville to attend a chili cook-off. Rough roads all the way down. I drove there on these Cooper Discoverer and Duramax tires. You know, they're made with the durability of off-road tires, but for on-road driving. Without them, we might never know the winning bean-to-meat ratio of a good chili. And those are the things in life, my friend, worth driving towards. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! I'm hungry now.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
Roll. Welcome back to New Jersey Motorsports Park. Under increasingly gray skies, temperatures still very high here in Millville, New Jersey. 81 degrees trackside, but regardless, it is time to go qualifying for the drivers in the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. Hello, friends. My name is Rob Howden. Great to be here and involved with the guys from Road to Indy TV. The whole crew excited to bring you the action from this standalone event at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Normally, of course, the Road to Indy running in conjunction with the NTT IndyCar Series. A couple of one-off events this year to deal with the continuing schedule issues with the COVID-19 pandemic. Standalone again this weekend here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. We'll do the same thing on the opening weekend of October. The finale for the season at Mid-Ohio, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the replacement event from the canceled Honda Indy Grand Prix in Toronto. So, again, back to racing once again for the drivers here in Indy Pro 2000 and USF2000. Long layoff for the drivers in USF. It hasn't been not since the drivers went racing at Mid-Ohio in July. Of course, Indy Pro 2000 on track last weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway. But again, a standalone weekend here. Blue Marble Radical Cup joining us on the weekend schedule. So we're done with testing and practice. Full day of testing for both Indy Pro and USF 2000 yesterday. Same goes for this morning. A couple of practice sessions for each of the categories, those wrapping up. In fact, Indy Pro, as we know, just wrapping up moments ago, about 15 minutes ago. We'll have a break in the action after this qualifying run. Indy Pro 2000 will be back at 1 o'clock this afternoon for their qualifying session. Then two races, triple headers for both of the series. Rung 1 and Rung 2 of this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. USF 2000 will go green at 2:30. Indy Pro 2000 going green at 4:30. Look for show times, our pre-race to start about 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock respectively. Josh Green was the quickest driver yesterday in the final test session, a 1:18.510 for Josh Green. Spike Kohlbecker second, Kiko Porto third, Michael D'Orlando fourth, and Nolan Siegel fifth. Earlier today, of course, we had the morning practice session here as well, and in that practice session, Kiko Porto, your point leader, who comes in with a nice little advantage right now over Michael D'Orlando, found himself P1 by a tenth over his teammate Nolan Siegel. D-Force has put some pretty good race cars out here for USF 2000. Prescott Campbell, the third of the D-Force drivers in the top four. Campbell fourth, the only lone interloper there. Christian Brooks from Exclusive Autosport. Brooks in the championship fight as well, but a long shot for Brooks, who comes in fifth in the points, about 77 points back. He'll need to get a couple of race wins and see some issues for both Kiko Porto and Michael D'Orlando. But Brooks was good here last year. Had some trouble in qualifying. Qualified mid-pack and had to fight his way forward. Kiko Porto, Nolan Siegel, Christian Brooks, Prescott Campbell, and Christian Weir, Fast Five this morning. Really amazing run for Christian Weir in the number 32 for Turn 3 Motorsport to go P5. Here's a driver who really has just kind of jumped in here, did a one-off weekend at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course back in July, getting his feet wet at the end of the season here. Planning, of course, for a full run at the championship in 2022. Very impressive for Weir, laying down a 1:18.615, just 0.4 of a second behind Kiko Porto, but also ahead of race winner and championship current second place guy Michael D'Orlando, quicker than Josh Green, his teammate, quicker than Billy Fraser, Spike Kohlbecker, Yuvan Sundaramurthy, Josh Pearson, race winner Thomas Nepvu. Great run for Christian Weir, and we'll see if that transitions into good speed here as well in qualifying. Seeing some teams lay out some fresh rubber here. Tough to do that in a 20-minute session, although the lap time's not overly long. New Jersey Motorsports Park, very challenging racetrack in which to overtake. Not a lot of those hard braking corners which allow the deep move to the inside, the out braking, better, over-under kind of a corner where if this guy blocks to the inside, you over-under on the exit. Road America has a number of corners like that, as we know, which make it such a great overtaking racetrack. This one more fast and flowing. There's not a lot of hardcore braking that would open up for passing opportunities, so should make things tough. It also puts a higher onus on qualifying. You qualify well here, very likely you're going to finish well. Hard to make any huge moves forward. Christian Brooks with the fastest lap out of the gate here. A couple laps in, 1:17.580 for Brooks. Josh Green second, Yuvan Sundaramurthy third, Josh Pearson fourth, and Jace Denmark in fifth. See how things shake down in terms of changing to fresh tires. Always an interesting approach depending on how much pace you have early in qualifying. On that opening set of fresh tires, are you able to put a lap down? Are you 2-3 tenths clear? Do you roll the dice and hold the tires? Because this track is notoriously rough on tires. And in fact, the Cape Motorsports drivers coming back in already, I have a sneaking feeling they may have just scuffed a set. All four of those cars coming, I believe, back into pit lane here now. Of course, they had two Cape Motorsports cars and their other two, the affiliated cars with the Ignite Autosport team of Spike Kohlbecker and Evan Stammer. This is the track where, because it's rough on tires, you may want to put that quick scuff and a little heat cycle into those tires, give them a little longer durability and consistency when you bring them back out to race. And again, with 3 races on the weekend as well, kind of plays, you got to play it correctly. Christian Brooks still on tap on lap number 3, 117.580 for Brooks. When does his team bring him in, potentially to put fresh rubber on? He is just 0.08 quicker than Josh Pearson, but a tenth or more quicker than Josh Green now as well. Good shot here. The driver's coming out of turn number 12 onto the front straightaway. You can see the gray clouds in the back. There is a potential for precipitation throughout the weekend, so we may see some wet weather racing. We'll have a look. Here's turn number 2. Oh, driver going all the way off on the outside of turn 2. Looks like that might have been Christian Brooks who went off there. One of the exclusive Autosport drivers didn't go all the way four-wheel up, but really up on the rumbles coming out of turn number 1 through to turn number 2. There's Eli Navarro down into turn 4. This is the rise out of 3 over to 4. Billy Fraser coming through as well. There's Brooks. Brooks obviously pushing hard there, and I expect to see him into pit lane now. Here comes the number 24 of Josh Pearson, currently P2, 117.776 for Pearson. Tires laid out here as well for one of the exclusive Autosport drivers. I'm assuming that's going to be Christian Brooks potentially. Fast lap coming on lap number 2 for Brooks, 117.580. Brooks, Pearson, Green, Sundermurthy, and Kiko Porto now to P5, 117.8024 for Kiko Porto. Jace Denmark continues to pick up speed in his rookie season here in the USF2000 program. Denmark into 6th, Michael D'Orlando 7th, Nolan Siegel 8th, Miles Rowe 9th, and Prescott Campbell 10th. The 11 and the 12 heading back out for D-Force Racing. Prescott Campbell in the number 11 and the 12 of Kiko Porto. Pardon me, coming back in. Point leaders in the championship having that pit spot all the way down the front end of pit lane. Pretty good battle there championship-wise. Only 7 points ahead of Cape Motorsports. Pabst Racing not that far back either. 7 points, exclusive Autosport, back by about 84 points. Christian Brooks indeed into pit lane. Team going to work. Tires going on. The number 44, driver to Santa Clara, California. In comes the 23 as well, Jace Denmark. A lot of action here on pit lane. Fresh stickers. Fresh Coopers on all the cars from Cape Motorsports and Ignite Autosport. Fresh rubber going on D-Force as well. Same goes for the drivers here in exclusive. Actually, we have not yet seen Billy Fraser. He was off earlier. Same goes for the Turn 3 Motorsport drivers. Here comes Eli Navarro in. He'll be the final of the D-Force drivers to get fresh stickers. 2020 champion in the Lucas Oil School of Racing Formula Car Series. And you just look at the past champions of the Lucas Oil School. Prescott Campbell, Reese Gold, all making their way here into the Road to Indy. All right, first drivers leaving. You can see the full pit lane down there, and they're shot out of turn number 1. One of the D-Force drivers rolling out here. He'll blend onto the racetrack here. Out of turn number 2. This is down to turn 3. 3, the right, left, right combination. Out of 3 over to turn 4. Right-hander, short shoot down to 5. That's the run down here to turn number 6. Back-to-back right-handers. 6 a little more open on the entry than 7, which is a tighter corner. And the big sweeping turn 8, 9, and 10. We lose them with our track cameras here, but we pick them back up as they come into turn number 10, which is a left-hand sweeping corner that leads into turn 11, a little right-left combination. This right here, turns 10. Out of 10 into that right-left 11A and B. And under the bridge through turn number 12 and back onto the front straightaway. Christian Brooks still on top. Everybody out, though, with fresh rubber. Well, not everybody out. Let me put it this way, because all 4 of the Cape Motorsports cars remain on pit lane now. Looks like they're getting ready to fire those cars up. Indeed, they are. Still one of the D-Force cars is out there. Stickers on Billy Fraser in the Cambridge Global Payments exclusive Autosport entry. Billy Fraser, the Kiwi, and the number 91. Coming to us from the Toyota Racing Series. And there go all the Cape cars, all 4 Cape cars rolling out with fresh rubber. Here comes the 42 of Michael Myers as well. Michael Myers, 17th in that first stint. Sticker tires in the 42. Here comes the 16 of Kent Vaccaro. Out of Burlington, Vermont, running for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports, made his debut with the USF2000 on the road to Indy last year here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. All right, so here we go. Time to get at it. 7.5 minutes remaining. Pit crews have essentially done their work. So a couple more drivers further down still to come. Turn 3 drivers, I believe. Okay, so Yuvan Sundaramurthy, first driver on fresh rubber to get the job done. He goes to P1, 117.341 for Sundaramurthy. Brooks still second, Pearson, Green, and Porto, but again, those drivers have not yet put laps on those fresh tires yet. Down into turn number 1. Look at this. That's, I believe, Spike Kohlbecker and Billy Fraser. Kohlbecker out earlier, 1 lap more fresher tires. Not fresher tires, with the heat into the tires. Fraser just starting to get the heat built into those Coopers. So Kohlbecker made the move to the inside, the run down into 1. Fraser holding up guys behind him a little bit, and that's tough. Fraser actually getting the tires up to temperature. That's just tough release. That's the issue here with so many cars on track. Got to make sure you get out there at the right time. Fraser, of course, now picking things up. He's got one of the other Cape drivers behind him. Probably, I think it might be either Michael D'Orlando or Thomas Nepfu. Didn't look like one of the Ignite Autosport cars. Kiko Porto now to second. Out comes the 33 now. Josh Green, fresh rubber. 5.5 minutes to go. Sundaramurthy on top, 117.3. Kiko Porto, 117.4, just 600ths back. Brooks is still to put a fast lap down on his fresh rubber. Nolan Siegel up into 6th, Jace Denmark to 7th. They get their fastest laps on the new stickers. 117.7 for both of those drivers. A 7.7 for Siegel, a 7.8 for Denmark. Michael D'Orlando back in 8th position still. Sundaramurthy back across the line once again. Lap 5 his best. Christian Brooks has not gone any quicker. Lap 2 still at his best. Same goes for Josh Green and Nolan Siegel. Rather, Josh Green and Josh Pearson. Both those drivers fastest laps, laps 2 and 3, early in that first run. Thomas Nephew in the number 2, trying to get by Nathan Bird, making his second start on a road course here for Legacy Autosport. Bird's found speed throughout the testing session yesterday, got significantly closer to the tail of that grid. Really good run for Nathan as he gets more and more comfortable with the USF2000 car. Does a ton of racing in late models, midgets, sprint cars. No one going green right now on track other than Sundar Murthy. How about Prescott Campbell? Just as I say that, he goes a little quicker. 8th spot for Prescott Campbell, the D-Force Racing Machine. 4 minutes to go in the session. A 1:17.854 for Prescott. A little ways behind Jace Denmark. Sundar Murthy still on top. Here's a guy who's still in the championship fight, but needs a really strong weekend. 51 points back for Yuvan Sundar Murthy. Yuvan, a winner earlier this year, scored the victory at Barber Motorsports Park and won as well at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Miles Rowe looks like he could be potentially done in the number 99. Miles Rowe currently sitting in the 10th spot in the Force Indy entry. A 1:17.938 for Miles Rowe, just 0.6 of a second back, and that'll be it for him. Number of drivers coming in, I think, to finish off their runs. Kiko Porto, I think, in the 12 is done. So will not be a pole position for Kiko Porto. He's going to go to his team. Another one of the D-Force Racing drivers in pit lane as well. You can see Kiko working his way down to the D-Force team. Very front of pit lane. Additional drivers still coming down into turn 1 here. Still 2.5 minutes remaining. Michael D'Orlando finally put some speed down. He'll go to 5th. D'Orlando to P5 now. 1:17.705 for D'Orlando. Thomas Nephew turns his fast lap. He's 15th. Evan Stammer 18th. Dylan Christie now up to 14th. One driver off the racetrack there on the exit of turn number 3, I believe. Or the entry to 3. Yeah, there's that driver slowing. That might have been an exit of 2. Here's turn number 4. D'Orlando to the 5th position, 1:17.705. Michael D'Orlando to P5. Waiting to see if anybody can put a magic lap down here. Yuvan Sundar Murthy still holding on to provisional pole by 0.06 of a second. A little less than 2 minutes remaining. Right now it's Sundar Murthy, Porto, Brooks, Pearson, and D'Orlando. 4 different teams in the top 5. And that's it for Jace Denmark in the number 23. He'll be 8th at best, unless anybody else finds some more speed late in the run. Here comes the 4 as well of D'Orlando. P5 is all we're going to see from D'Orlando inside of a row 3 position on the grid for the driver challenging for the championship. Josh Green up to 4th in the Turn 3 Motorsports 33. Green goes to P4. Podium here last year for Josh, 1:17.649. Christian Weir holding on to the top 10. And here comes Thomas Nephew as well in the Cromwell Cape Motorsports entry. 16th for Thomas Nephew. Will not be happy with that at all. So Green quicker. 25 seconds to go. That'll be it, I believe, for Christian Brooks as well. He comes into pit lane. Brooks P3. Inside row 2 start provisionally for the Californian. Sundar Murthy, though, out of Delafield, Wisconsin. Looking to try to get this pole for Pabst Racing and S-Team Motorsports. University of Wisconsin Badger. 600ths quicker than Porto. Checker flag being thrown here at start finish now by Aaron Likens, the official flagman of the Road to Indy, to wrap things up. drivers coming into pit lane now, getting held up here at start-finish. We'll head them back to the garage area, paddock area. And let's just have a look at how things shake down. Final drivers potentially on the racetrack. Yuven Sundaramurthy, P1. 117.341 bonus point for Yuven. As I said, a couple of drivers still on the racetrack. Nathan Bird, I believe, being one of them. Michael Myers as well. Myers actually down in 17th. Good qualifying run for Myers as he continues to pick up speed. But Sundaramurthy on top of the 22. Kiko Porto in second. Christian Brooks third. Josh Green fourth. Josh Pearson rounding out the top 5. So indeed, those top 5 drivers, I want to say all within the top 8 in points, including 4 of the top 5. Michael D'Orlando in 6th. Of course, he's second in points. So top 5 all within the top 6, essentially. Nolan Siegel in 7th. Jace Denmark 8th. Prescott Campbell 9th. And Christian Weir rounding out the top 10. What a great run for the driver Christian Weir. It is only his second Road to Indy event. Miles Rowe ends up 11th. Billy Fraser 12th. Spike Kohlbecker in 13th. Dylan Christie and Eli Navarro rounding up the top 15. Thomas Nepfu in 16th. Michael Myers 17th. Evan Stammer in 18th. Bajoy Garg 19th. Peter Vodanovich, Kent Vaccaro, Trey Burke, and Nathan Bird round out the 23 drivers we have in this Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. But after that strong qualifying session, Yuven Sundaramurthy out of Delafield, Wisconsin for Pabst Racing qualifying on the pole position, and that's going to put him in a really good spot to potentially go for a race win. Sundaramurthy will start alongside your pole sitter Kiko Porto when we go racing later on this afternoon. Look for about a 2 o'clock start for our Road to Indy TV pre-race. And I'll start driver introductions around 2:20. 2:30 scheduled green flag for the start of what will be a 20-lap race for USF 2000. And we'll be back later on today as well. Indy Pro 2000 qualifying set to go at 1 o'clock. So really about 2 hours and 20 minutes from now, we'll be back at it here on the Road to Indy TV app and throughout the different platforms that cover our events. Though if you're trackside here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, a lot of great stuff here still coming for you now. The Blue Marble Radical Cup will be on track for a 30-minute practice session. We have our NTT IndyCar 2-seater program here as well. If you want to get behind the wheel or in the back seat of one of the 2-seaters, have some fun here. Again, that 2-seater program running for about 90 minutes before we head into qualifying for Indy Pro 2000. Once again, folks, New Jersey Motorsports Park, the stretch run underway for the drivers in USF 2000 and Indy Pro. Just 5 races remaining. Triple header here at New Jersey, and the double header finale at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course on the first weekend of October. Thank you so much for joining us for qualifying for USF 2000, and congratulations to Yuven Sundaramurthy, fastest driver of the 23. He'll start race number 1 of the triple header from pole this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Road to Indy TV. My name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.